Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Children of the Cup. I am your DM, GM, storyteller, whichever you like to call me, Forgotten Dreams, and I'm joined by a lovely cast of people, starting with Emma.
Hi, I'm Emma or Mel, and I play Isabella, who is currently in the world.
You said currently, you cut out, and then you finished off that sentence.
I am currently numb to the world.
There you go. All right, next up, we're going to have Shannon.
Hello, and I play Rosa, also known as the Maiden.
Fantastic. Next up, we're going to have Seth.
Hi, my name is Sephoriel, and I'll be playing Victor.
Fantastic. And last but not least, we're going to have Azzy.
Hello, I'm Sirafala, and I'm playing Emilia, the only non-vampire in the group.
Woo! Non-vampires unite. Anyways, bringing us in with our viewer warning is going to be Seth, and then we'll pick up from there.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, please keep in mind we are playing a vampire story. There will be dark choices, dark decisions made by players and dungeon masters alike. So please don't hold it against any of us. This is purely the roleplay and the characters making these decisions. Also, if it gets a bit too dark or a bit too much for you, just take a break. Your own health comes first. There we go.
Fantastic. For those of you who want a full breakdown of what happened last time, you can always watch last episode. Other than that, though, the party is out on a night of the town, or night on the town, night of the town, night on the town. And they are looking to perform their first hunts as a coterie. Well, one of them is simply there to play chaperone, but the rest of them are there to do their first hunts as a coterie. Some shenanigans have already been gotten up to in the tavern, mild shenanigans at that, and some interesting things were gleaned. Taxes, yes, for the toll coming from France to Bruges are going to be increasing for certain luxury goods. We have been introduced to the best patron of them all, one Count Driscoll.
Yes.
The horniest customer of the Black Rose Thorns Tavern. There are a number of other story threads sort of floating around. Just to give everyone a little bit of a reminder, we are still in the rack itself, and the prince, well, the Grand Duchess, however you would like to call her, is in the vicinity somewhere around here, and that is Martina Gisela. So, picking things back up, Amelia, you've just arrived back at the table. I believe is close to where we left off before we got interrupted. After doing a round of pickpocketing and trying to glean some information from the rumor mill, as it were, which led you to the toll information. Whew. All right. Was anyone else away from the table when Amelia was away from the table and hasn't returned yet?
For a while, but I returned to the table.
Yeah, you returned to the table definitely before Amelia did, but what about, say for instance, Isabella or the Maiden?
Went off to do tarot readings with various people, but I don't think I thought I rolled, but it doesn't look like I did roll. I think I just described it.
I don't see a roll here, so actually what I'm going to give you, what I'd like you to give me, for this, we're probably going to do, as I go and look at a character sheet, because I don't remember what any of the roll calls are anymore, charisma, and it's going to be performance.
I fuck. Okay. Oh no! Okay.
This role itself is about who you can attract to. While you have made your a bit of a name for yourself in certain circles with your tarot reading, and have even made it to the high socialites of the city already, in some manner here or there, it still isn't exactly a well talked about thing that this woman will come through the shadow of the night, bring out a deck of cards, and then give you the best fortune of your life. So it's still a bit of an oddity here in the city.
I have no points of performance because I've asked you before about tarot and you said to put it in Legend of Mage and Occult, which I have done. I have no points
This is not doing the tarot itself. This is simply attracting a crowd.
Yeah. Okay, so what's the difficulty?
Difficulty is going to be standard difficulty of 6.
Okay, this is going to be an awful... I don't want to look at it, guys.
1 success. That's not too bad. So you do manage to get a bit of individuals interested. So far 3, and I'm going to make a roll myself. Hold on here. Actually, I need to make 2 rolls. So high or low? Okay.
This bites me in the ass every time. Which is be like 100 or some shit.
Okay, interesting. All right. So then I need to roll. Yes. And that's going to turn out to be. Let's see here.
Roll initiative. This is a lot of rolls. What the fuck?
As you sort of bring out the tarot deck and you sort of make a show of it and ask about if people are interested, sort of if anyone's ever, well, I know Shannon has not seen this episode of Deadwood, but in the first episode of Deadwood, when the marshal steps out after they set up their tent, and is like, we've got pots and pans here, we've got... and it's just the lowest effort possible because he's worried and he's very nervous. That's sort of the performance initially that the maiden gives as she pulls out this tarot deck amongst all these strangers. But across the inn itself, you immediately... maybe 10 seconds into your speech, you hear a voice pipe up. Aye, that's the one! That's the one who's been with the nobles! Go, she's good! And immediately, let's see, let me do a double count here. 1, okay. Immediately you get about 6 individuals who spring up from their chairs and begin congregating over towards you. You would recognize, by the way, the individual that spoke out. He is Talmor Thrisco. He is a French sailor who's a bit down on his luck, but you gave him a pretty good reading about 2.5 weeks ago.
She'll look over to his direction and give him, a warm smile and a nod. In thanks.
So Amelia, not Amelia, the maiden goes off, and I'm going to assume that you're going to take up a private table to begin your tarot readings.
Yeah, I'm not going to just gate crash somebody else's table with my tarot cards.
Good. Are you, so to sort of make people familiar with how the maiden works in this arena, what is the maiden's method when it comes to tarot reading? Not just so tarot reading itself, but is she someone who charges a price at the door? In order to get your tarot read, you must pay me 5 guilders, yada, yada, yada. What is her shtick?
She's such a nice person. She'd speak to them first, get kind of, and from there explain what kind of readings she can offer, and figuring out what they want. And basically, she's kind of like a charge what you want kind of. So, yeah, there's so many times if somebody's been in a really dire situation and really needed something to kind of guide their way or wanted some hope from a stranger, she probably would have given a free one, but she's also not going to say no to money. So yeah, very much get to know them, and from there, but she'll probably take the money first, and if they want to give a tip afterwards, yeah, and if that kind of a deal. She's just too nice, guys. We need to fuck her up.
Awesome. That begins playing out. Would you take up a corner, or would you maybe try and pick a table that is empty somewhere near the center? There's only maybe 3 tables that are empty in this entire establishment currently at the moment. One's nearby the center, one's over in the far right corner, and the other one is near the bar itself.
Santa, though, if there's anyone who wants a more kind of private reading, that she'd probably be like, wait till the end and we'll go ask for a room or something like that.
You more than likely
otherwise
get
it'll be
one of those.
Santa.
Yeah.
Okay.
The first individual comes up. Oh, I have a sickly mother. She's not doing too well, and I'd just like to know how she's gonna be, and whether or not her fortune will pass to me or my brother Lucius. Things like that begin to play out before you. And if you would go ahead and give me your choice of either manipulation or wits occult.
Okay. Go do manipulation. Is it still 6? Still default?
Still is going to be the default 6, yes.
Ooh.
Okay. It wasn't as bad as it could have been. Okay. Alright, gotcha. So I will mark that down personally as the thing that happened. Okay. Peeling away from that event as the tarot reading begins, first starting in the center of the room, what are the rest of you up to now that Amelia, you've returned to the table, and you have both Victor and Isabella to yourself?
Well, I think I look over towards Isabella and says, Duchess, what's your plan? How are you going to do this?
I am not certain, actually. How is it normally done? Do you just lead someone away? Or...
Well, there are different tactics, of course, but I mean, you can go the route to flirt with someone. And
Real
then
quick.
maybe...
Not to interrupt, sorry. The maiden, do you have auspex?
I do think she has.
Give me 2 seconds. I believe I do. But I'll just
I believe you do
double
too,
check.
but I want to...
I do.
Yeah, you do. Okay.
Yeah, I have
Give
3.
me a perception... I'm trying to remember which one is which. Alertness, I think. With a difficulty of 4. To still allow yourself to be able to overhear what's going on at your companion's table with your heightened senses. Okay, 2 successes. Yeah, you're still able to overhear the conversation going on at your table. Their voices are distinct enough in your mind that you're able to pick them out from the blurb of noise that is going on around you in the tavern. Sorry, going back to what you guys were doing.
In for flirt, you can pretend to take it further than what would be proper. Like maybe go somewhere that no one can see, or wait for a distraction and jump on the prey, so to say, when the distraction happens. Like waiting, patience can be a good virtue in hunting in these social establishments. Or you can find someone that is very drunk and is about to leave and stalk them, as they might take a shortcut to an alley.
That might be the preferred method, I suppose.
Alright, then I would probably sit here and watch around, waiting for people to get there to that state. And then if someone is leaving alone or maybe with a friend, you could follow them, see where they go.
All right. do that then. What about you, Victor?
I haven't really thought of it how to deal with him yet when he comes in. Getting him in private would be practical. But considering that he's here for the girls of the night, that might not be as easy as...
I don't think you are his type, unfortunately.
No, exactly. Then again, I could make him follow me.
You could do that. Or if you want to, I mean, you could tell him that you have the perfect girl for him. A new one, someone that has not been working yet. But she's not here, and you want to take him there. And if you're very convincing, he might actually follow it.
Do that. Although it seems easier to just command him. And
It
again,
is, but the command have after trails. I mean, if you do too much, people might be able to know what you're doing.
also, yeah, if he is told that he went out with someone and he doesn't remember it afterwards, that would indeed make it look bad.
Yes. I mean, it is a working tactic, and probably many that do that, but you have to be careful in what you make them forget. So the stories make sense.
True.
When Emilia looks over to Isabella and see that, I guess Isabella has like no emotions, she's just looking out.
Very,
Yeah.
very dead to the world.
Then she just, because she have a tick, of course, she moves her fingers behind her back, she holds her hands like she's like in the lap, she moves a little with her fingers, and I will inflame another emotion in her, or not another humor.
Sure.
I want to inflame sanguine in Isabella, so she's
Oh
more.
boy.
She might need some courage in what she's going to do.
Oh boy.
And
All right.
I guess I need your road score again, Isabella.
7.
7. And I have to roll manipulation empathy against that. So let's see how that goes. So I want to inflame sanguine. And I will explain what it is after I rolled in case maybe it doesn't work. Oh
I
my
think
god.
it works.
Oh my god. This is too many successes. Okay. So, you are inflamed and with the sanguine, which has basically 3 strong emotions connected to them, which is courage, hope, and lust.
Okay.
Isabella might be
And-
experiencing a bit of the
Difficult thing for her.
vapors.
Sorry, what did you
And-
say?
Isabella might be experiencing a bit of the vapors.
Hmm.
And as this is more successes than the last one, I think the last one is totally cancelled out as well.
Yes.
Okay.
So that does not mean you only have these
Oh,
emotions,
no.
courage, hope, and lust. You have other emotions as well. It's just all
And
those
These are
three
Very
are-
strong. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Exactly.
Oh fuck.
You are
Okay.
a Barbie girl in a Barbie
sorry
world.
to say this. I am sorry to say it. Depending how the DM sees it, like if I get full success on the time as I was canceling something or not, because 5 successes means a month. But maybe it's not fully that much because I had to work against the other thing first.
Well,
Or you could actively try to temper yourself.
could you in a
I want.
Could you pop
If
me a
I'm allowed to
Discord
temp-
message with the wording exactly of how that works? I need to look for something in it to see exactly.
Okay, sure. I will send it over to you.
Need to check a little something something, but you're feeling these emotions now, Isabella. And there are a multitude of individuals to pick from within this tavern.
Okay.
Okay. Oh boy. All right.
I'm gonna make it a little easier to read.
So did you say brave, hope, and lust?
Courage,
Bravery,
hope, and
and
lust. Courage, hope, and
Yes.
lust.
Courage, hope, and lust.
So yeah, those are inflamed. So every time you feel one of those emotions, or should feel one, it will probably be a lot stronger.
Okay.
Or I guess courage means that you just I'm not afraid of things anymore.
Okay.
Which might be a bad thing.
Does it as well, like, kind of create them, or is it just if I get those feeling, it increases that feeling?
I can describe the text of it, so it's a more easy to understand.
Please do.
So, the user can inflame the humors of a victim within line of sight, eroding the victim's self-control and amplifying its temperament to a fevered pitch. The vampire may select one of the four humors that governs the body and induce the emotion associated with it. Thus, the flames of mild irritation may be fanned into a rage with inflammation of the yellow bile, or a brief melancholy into crippling depression with an inflammation of black bile, and inflaming plague, on the other hand, completely deadens the victim's emotion. These inflammations can last for days or even weeks. So if you have no reason to feel any of courage, hope, and lust, or the need for it, you might not actually get them inflamed. But if you're sitting there trying to find courage, and maybe there's an environment that sparks small lust things, it will probably be increased a lot. So it will not create new things, basically. It will just make them a lot stronger.
Okay. In that case, there is I would say the most overwhelming of the emotions that pours through you would be courage in the moment.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there anyone moving outside, even if it's just no one that isn't even drunk?
There are quite a few individuals still moving outside. As I described, we are in the rack, despite the fact that many a shop has closed for the evening, and quite a few businesses as well. There is a bit of liveliness still to the center of town. Quite a few people are going for romantic strolls. Quite a few people are going for fantastic moonlit boating adventures through the same Bruges.
Right.
A number of people are just arriving in town and getting a glimpse of it for the first time, even if it is in the dead of night. There are a number of individuals seeing as this is the center of town, and it is littered, but not ridiculously so, with taverns, inns, and the like. So there are a couple of inebriated individuals roaming the streets, and there is a very active criminal life going on through the streets outside as well. To what extent would take some investigation to find out, but no doubt those who call the shadows home are on the prowl.
All right. And I think Isabella would basically just wait for like maybe a minute at the most, and under that minute, if she sees anyone of like, probably not like nobility, probably like a decent of merchant or someone in that kind of social class that looks above average, she would probably just walk after that one.
Sure. I should also go ahead and describe something that I failed to describe earlier when you in particular came into this establishment. This establishment is quite dark for you. It's very low light according to your circumstances. while underneath tables and anywhere that shadow touches is quite visible and quite enhanced as to what you're able to see, everywhere where there is candlelight or light from the hearth or things of that nature leaves you in a sense of dimness, where in some instances, just to see who's on the other side of the room, you're having to really squint. Whereas when you look outside, it is a bristling, beautiful daylight.
All right. If it's that hard to see, I would probably toggle off the pierce the veil.
Okay.
If I feel like that's more visible.
As you bring that power, into control, slowly over the next minute or so, things start to return back to their normalness as your eyes readjust. And unfortunately, that does mean that the outside goes to a very short distance of being able to see what's going on outside. You can still hear a lot of commotion. You can still see quite a few people, but the details of it all begins to blur and become nothing but shadows of the night, with the occasional flickering of individuals who are holding lanterns and the such. There's also another thing that begins to happen as you are looking out there, but you can go ahead and make me a perception alertness. I'm going to give you difficulty 5 for this, because as you go to look out there, the evening bells do ring around the city. And you would notice quite a few people, except for those who seem to be tourists who are new to the city, begin to pull out lanterns and light them and carry them with themselves. Something that would have been explained to all of you, and you probably, at least one of you, if not all of you, would have a small one on hand. It is illegal to walk the streets without a lantern that is lit. And to be caught doing so is a fine of 15 guilders and spending at least the night in prison. So, 3 successes. What you would mainly see is, in the immediate vicinity outside of this particular establishment, there are a few individuals that you clock as possibly being either lesser nobles or individuals of high influence within the merchant class itself, who are, their shops are closed. They're out for a night on the town to drink and spend their woes away. But there are also quite a few individuals who aren't in particularly high-class apparel, who seem to just be wandering the streets. And you're not sure if those individuals are regular citizens or if they are travelers, at least not immediately.
All right. Well, gonna basically single out one that seems like it's disappearing into like an alleyway or something like that. She's probably not too concerned at the moment. It will be fine.
Okay, fantastic. So you would take your leave, as it were, from the table to seek your prey. All right.
Do you want me to follow?
Yes. I don't have a lantern.
Oh, all right. And she would take out her lantern.
Victor, the ladies stand and begin to make their way towards the front door. You can still hear the wrapping up of the tarot reading as you look over, and you can see the maiden is currently giving a big smile and shaking hands with an individual over in the far corner of the tavern itself, her last customer that stood up. And she is presumably, unless I'm incorrect, the maiden would start making her way back just as she sees these two standing and starting to make their way for the front door.
Yeah,
she'd wrap it up, make her way on over. Also, was there anybody who might sort of during the readings seem like they might want, like, spirit stuff in the future? Because she'd probably say at a later date she would, if they wish, have a further consultation of her, kind of a thing.
High or low?
Let's go high.
Okay. No. There was no one who decided that it was necessary for any spiritual interventions on behalf of dead relatives or lovers or the such.
Welcome back.
Do Isabella or Amelia say anything as the maiden comes to the table just as you two are getting up to head to the door?
We were just about to, see to the business. We will be back shortly, I'm sure.
Yes. I will give a courtesy and then follow Isabella.
Best of luck.
Good luck indeed.
Thank you. She will walk out.
Mm-hmm. The two of them head off, leaving the two of you at the table.
That's a rather sudden shift. I sort of look after them.
What do you mean?
Well, first Isabella seems like she doesn't give like the slightest fuck in the world, excuse my French. Now she suddenly seems to be very eager to hunt.
Guess hunger does that, I think.
Maybe. Well, I guess I should be happy. Those card readings, I do have a bit of time to kill, as in... Would you read my fortune?
Sure. And she would start shuffling away. And do you want me to roll? How do you want to do this?
Well... Do you have a tarot deck on hand?
I do have a tarot deck on hand.
Then I
let me
think,
get my cheat sheet.
ladies and gentlemen, while the cheat sheet is being gotten, strap in your butts, because I think we're going to have a real tarot reading here and now.
Oh, God. Don't.
Should you be willing.
I would say please cut away and let me come
Fantastic.
back once I've written some shit.
All right. We're gonna give that some time. We might bring that down to rules. It depends on how our tarot reader thinks things will go. In the meantime, the camera cuts from the two of them as I'm sure the maiden shows a bit of quite a bit of eagerness at the opportunity to continue her craft. But the camera follows the two ladies as they make their way out the door into the streets, and luckily one of you does have a lantern indeed, and it is quite appropriate that it would be Amelia carrying the lantern. As a noble lady herself, it would be quite unseemly to be carrying such a lowly object through the streets. Either way, you hit the streets themselves, and there is this rush of fresh air that reaches the two of you as you sort of didn't entirely realize it, but the moment you step outside, there's like this breath of fresh air as the stale ale and a little bit of musk and the smell of like road snack foods just leaves your senses, and you're brought into the night.
All right. I'm gonna turn on Pierce the Veil again.
Okay.
And
Takes a second, but suddenly You find yourself staring at a bright, sunlit world with people holding on to small shadows as they walk by.
Beautiful. And well, if she looks around, what does she see? Like, what kind of... Does anyone stand out?
Quite a few things would stand out. For one, here in this particular portion of the rack, you would see... Oh, God, this is a question I should have asked Seth out of character. Hey, Seth, what is, if you know, the name of Bruges' guard, if they have any specific one?
I don't happen to know that.
Okay, well, in the meantime, we'll call him the Guard of Bruges.
Simple.
Oh, you know what? We'll call them the Candles of Bruges, as this is the nighttime guard. You would see that there are currently 2 patrols. One patrol seems to be heading towards the westerly side of the city, and it looks like they did sort of a meetup here in the center of the rack, where essentially 2 captains came forth, gave their reports, said where they were going to go, and began to split off. The other group seems to be heading towards the south of the rack. Beyond that, you would see posted up over by the nearby cathedral, there are round about 6 guards posted and in fixed positions, I should say. They have a little bit of a guard outpost over near the front of the cathedral itself, and there is individuals posted at the corners of the cathedrals that you can see from here, as well as some individuals who are in groups of 2, looking like they're spreading out to go on to patrol around the cathedral. There is, at this time of night, a small conclave of monks who would be heading towards the cathedral that would catch your eye. And beyond that, food-wise, you would see that there are a group of 3 nobles who have just made their way out of one of the establishments nearby, who seem to be quite inebriated, and they are having a loud, boisterous conversation about their recent acquisitions in real estate. They say their goodbyes, and they begin to head in 3 different directions. One of them actually heading, looks like, if not directly towards this establishment, at least to one of the buildings nearby.
All right. Anyone disappearing into like a smaller street?
For that, I would need a perception alertness. It's going to be difficulty 8. Okay, 2 successes. As you are looking around, Isabella would catch sight of one of the guards over by the cathedral, who is on one of the corners. He's on the southern corner of the cathedral from where you are standing. You would notice he's talking out of the side of his mouth, and your eyes would sort of track in the direction that he seems to sort of be talking, and you would see an individual in a darker cloak, no lantern, and the 2 of them seem to be having a conversation of probably 20 feet distance. But they aren't yelling. It seems that there's, they're using the hustle and bustle of the individual still traveling around to sort of mask what they're saying, at least from this distance. And you would see that the 2 of them come to some sort of agreement, and the individual near that the guard is talking to walks into an alleyway with no particular hurry, just casually walks in.
Isabella would kind of linger on the guard for like a moment and then just say, in a low tone to Emilia. I suppose snuffing a candle would be a little bit too much. And then she shifts to the guy disappearing into the alleyway. But we can still use this, and she will walk after.
Okay.
Wise choice.
You walk after. I'm assuming Amelia's going to follow in step.
Yes, I'm following.
When you two begin to get close to the alley that he disappeared into, Amelia, what are you going to do with your lantern? Knowing that there is a guard who might have this particular area in his peripheral.
Can he see into the whole alley, or does he only see the entrance?
He would be able to see the entrance and maybe 5 feet past that. Well, no, maybe about 10 feet past that with the way that it's angled.
I think she would maybe have the lantern as she walk into the alleyway, but then she would just place it on the ground 5 feet in, about the same when his peripheral would disappear. He would still see that there is light, but he would not see if we were standing next to it or not.
Okay. All right. Fantastic.
And I will do one thing more.
Mm-hmm.
As we come into the alleyway and I'm placing it down, I'm activating Quietus. And I want to include the range of Isabella, so about 5 feet radius from Emilia.
Okay.
Everything just turns quiet inside of there.
Mm.
But we still hear the outside.
Right, absolutely. The footsteps that you were making, they weren't by any means echoing very heavily on the cobblestone road, but they were making a bit of noise. And the moment that Quietus activates, there's sort of this almost small wave that emanates from Amelia for but a brief second, and suddenly that noise is immediately muffled and goes out of existence for some reason, as the two of you silently walk down this alley following this individual. Isabella, I would like to make me a perception alertness difficulty 3, because you have broken vision.
Difficulty
3.
All right.
Wow, okay. Oh. All right. Interesting. Okay. What you would see is the individual originally that you saw coming to the alleyway. He's probably another 45 feet ahead of the two of you. And he's stopped over by the back door of an establishment. And he seems to just be, at least from this angle, it looks like he is... You're not sure what he's doing. The best way to describe it would be, and this is with a cloak on, dry laughing. His body moves in sort of the same motions as laughing, but you can't see what he's physically doing.
Emilia's only thing that she checks if she sees him at all will be to try to determine if this is a mortal or a Cainite.
You do not have the blessings of the night upon your eyes.
No, I might not see him.
So, unfortunate. I will make you make a perception alertness first off to see the individual, as he is in a dark cloak. And this is a dark alley.
Yes. What if?
Difficulty for you is going to be 6. Actually, no. 7. But that's still going to be
I rolled...
4 successes. No.
Oh my god.
Yeah, 4 successes. Great. Okay, so yes, you would see this individual, and it is because you are slightly off to the left of Isabella walking down this path. that you would see he is currently holding something in his hand, in both of his hands. One thing seems to be he's trying to hold it steady. The other, it seems to be he's trying to whittle at something. But you're not sure exactly what the object is, but you are seeing shavings of something falling away from his left hand and hitting the floor.
Savings.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. I don't think I would say anything yet until I can determine more what is happening.
Sure.
I'm not sure if the shaving has any. I probably not see any colors. I see something falling.
Correct. It unfortunately, you would have to get closer to determine if this individual is of ghoulish or vampiric persuasion, if that is in fact the case.
Right.
Did I realize that it turned super quiet?
You would have realized very quickly. There's still the outside world's very much so making noise, but you yourself, your footsteps have seemed to deaden. And you're not entirely sure. Actually, make me an wits, occult, difficulty 6.
Do have specialities, but I'm not sure if it applies. I have Shrewd in Wit and the Abyss in Occult.
Neither's gonna apply. Two successes. You're, as much as you'd love to give yourself some credit and say that this is simply, the predator within you quieting yourself, you realize, no, with your cadence, you should still be making some noise, and you seem not to be. So this is perhaps an effect that Amelia is adding to your group.
All right. Well, I'm basically just gonna try to walk up to him stealthily, and if he notices me, I might do something. But
you begin to approach him, and the two of you get within about 15 feet of him. I would like Amelia, you're still trying to identify if he's supernatural or not. Is that thought even crossing Isabella's mind at the moment?
I don't think so.
So,
No.
Isabella, no roll for you, but Amelia, go ahead and make me a perception awareness. One success. You do not believe this individual to be of the supernatural persuasion. Something you would pick up, though, is that he does have some sort of marking on his wrist. Of his left hand, but you're not able to make it out before Isabella closes the distance.
Is there any gang I know that have markings like that on the wrist, even if I don't see the marking itself?
You know that there are gangs in the area, and you know that there is a nighttime market, as you are well aware, but you don't know their symbology yet.
Well, if Isabella is not noticed before she gets
She gets
to him,
right up on him.
then the thing that I do. How does it look? Look, Isabella is going to grapple him, or does it look like is she holding out her hands, or is she just stopping in front of him, or
Do you turn into a zombie?
No, but does it feel like you are about to pounce him, or does it feel more like you are going to talk to him? I don't know. I mean, pouncing I might be determined. I would say, can I see that you're about to pounce him or something else?
It doesn't necessarily look like she's about to pounce him, but more like she's moving up. Doesn't really seem like she's about to talk to him, I think.
Okay, let's clarify that a little bit. Is there an aggressiveness that picks up in her step or in her cadence in any way?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay, so you would notice her demeanor does in fact change a bit as she becomes a little bit more aggressive in her movements.
I am pretty sure I can do this, but I should just double check so I don't lie. As she's getting on where basically if she's gonna pounce, it's gonna happen. I would exactly. It's nothing. Yeah, it's only if I want to make it permanent. I will just increase the size to include even him. So his own sound would disappear trying to time it.
Interesting. Is there any... You don't have to mechanically roll anything or expend anything to increase the size?
No, I
Okay.
only have to do that if I want to make this a permanent effect of the area.
Okay.
Semi-permanent.
What is the... Go ahead.
Sorry?
Is that discipline silence of death?
This is Silence of Death, yes.
What is the range of this particular ability?
It is 20 feet in
Okay.
radius.
Got you. Okay, thank you.
So it's not. So I have to be kind of close myself as well to include it.
I assume that you were, as any good servant should do, staying very close to the madam in this instance, who would be Isabella. So, you go ahead and extend it to him, and I need to make a check for him. Oh, no, wait. How do I... Aha. So... All right. Doesn't seem to notice that the sound of him whittling away at what you now both can see is a small block of wood, which he's... You would not be wrong. He is whittling away at a small block of wood and seems to have an outline of what looks to be a key on the wood itself that he is slowly whittling down. He has not seemed to notice that the sound of him whittling and the sound of the chunks being shaved off of the wood goes quiet. Isabella, now is your moment.
Right.
Now is the time.
Yeah.
How would you like
And
to
she
do
would
this?
she would kind of move up in a very swift motion and not really like in a pouncing attack, more like a embrace sort of, and just sink down the teeth in his neck as quickly as possible.
Okay. I would like you to make for me a... Dexterity athletics versus his dexterity alertness.
Okay.
So I will come out of
I have
private
some
GM
die in
rolls
this.
and make a public roll.
Those dice are 2.
Gosh. Well, he has 3.
3 successes as well.
All right.
So you said you were going to essentially give him a very kind embrace, a
Oh,
hug.
yeah. I do have potence. Oh, maybe that's your strength.
That's just right.
That's just strength.
Okay, never mind.
If this had been, I run up to him and I fucking maul him, sure, absolutely. But
No, it's not.
you said a graceful hug before biting into him.
Yeah.
Your arms begin to, essentially, you begin to wrap your arms around him, and he immediately reacts. You can see the wood drops from his hand, and he throws back with extremely violent force with his right hand the chisel that he was using on the wood. in the direction behind him towards your face. So I will need from you, again, a dexterity athletics to try and dodge the improvised shank coming towards your face. And he will make it dexterity melee. And that's only 4 for him. One success.
At least one success.
There is a chance, should he roll poorly on these 4 dice, that you will get away with this. Okay. That's 110. That's a 6. That's a 5 and a 4. So 2 successes versus 1 success. Interesting. So that leaves him with a success, which
One to confirm.
He will then use one to confirm. And for an improvised chisel shank. Oh boy. It is lethal because it is a sharp object. I would think it could be considered essentially a dagger, but I'm going to say it only does strength damage. So his strength is this. Okay. So that is 1 damage. However, I would like you to go ahead and roll your stamina plus armor plus fortitude.
Don't believe I have armor.
Okay.
So that's just Wait, isn't there supposed to be a soak roll somewhere?
Yes.
Mhm.
In the top.
There we go.
Right.
I mean, should be this, I think.
2 successes. There's a small nick that runs across your right cheek as he violently thrusts this pick back towards you. But you manage to completely avoid having any actual serious damage. And by the time the chisel is even done scratching slightly into your face, the wound is already healed. And he goes to attempt to violently turn around and continue his assault. So at this point, I am going to call for the initiative. Let's see. Does this sheet have the beauty of automatic initiative rolls? Great.
You can,
fantastic.
if you have tokens, you can target your token and then roll initiative, and it will be added.
I don't have a token for this random NPC. So
I think you have at least an empty token.
Isabella,
I mean, if you haven't created anything, then you have to just roll, I guess.
This was an on-the-spot character, so
I will just pull out my character.
yeah, I'm just gonna.
That is the wrong icon. I don't think it's updated correctly.
Mortal.
That is.
What was I about to say?
And
That is not my character's token.
Oh, okay. Right. I got deleted. Okay.
Why do I have a tiefling token on this? That's a good question.
Yeah.
Spewing fire.
why are there
I
2
have
tokens?
a speciality in wit. Do I apply that, or how does that work?
You add that when you click initiative.
Yeah. Okay, so
I'm
active
seeing 2
encounters
Isabellas.
create.
Yeah.
Which one is that? One's the one that doesn't have any rolls on it currently, so that one goes away. Give me one. I'm assuming Amelia is going to join in the fray.
Yes, I was just. I think I have a pop-up somewhere that isn't closed. I have to close my sheet. Yeah, there it was. Of course. Then roll, and then I don't have a speciality.
Yeah. I cannot remember for the life of me the actual numbers for initiative, because it's not something I do often.
It's a D10 plus Dex plus Wits plus specialities.
It's Dex plus Wisdom. So.
Why? Okay, so it added the wrong token when I rolled because of it. Can you delete one of the wrong Isabellas?
It's plus speciality. So that is going to be...
Yeah, that's good enough. Close enough.
And which one is the wrong? Is it the first one?
The one that looks like a thiefling
Ah,
is the wrong one.
interesting that would come out. Interesting. All right. Anyways, how do I manually add this man to the initiative tracker?
When you target the token, you should get a shield and 2 swords that will pop up. If you click on that, he gets added.
Yes.
And then it is plus dex and wits. And you can right click in the combat tracker. And then you can say update initiative and you can just update the value.
Ah, okay. Well, his original roll was a 14, so pop that in there.
All right. Yeah, I rolled an original 9, but that's the same for me. I'm lost.
Well, I'm still going to update you to 9, motherfucker.
All right.
All right. There we go. Woo! Updated. All right. So, God, he would roll 14. Isabella.
Mhm.
You can see that he's beginning to turn to properly engage you. What is it you would like to do?
I would want to invoke Arms of Arimian. Ariman? Ariman? I don't know.
Okay. Would you like to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so basically she probably out of both her and his shadows, tentacles, dark like shadowy tentacles, just blow up. I do need to do a roll though.
Okay. I forgot over the course of these last few weeks that Lasombra were super hentai. My bad. Yeah.
The
I do
eyes of
tentacles.
Amelia goes wide when she sees this level of power she's activating. And now it looks like Emilia is turning around, but it's not my turn yet. But it feels like she's not approaching, she's turning around.
Every instinct says run.
Well, at least it says something that is very crucial right now.
Okay.
All right, so that's manipulation of coal.
Roll it away.
And I do have a specialty in the abyss, so I guess that might fly.
Yes. Does that also require any expenditure of blood or willpower?
I was trying to see, but I don't think it does. I can spend blood to increase the strength and dexterity of it, but it doesn't seem to cost blood to activate it.
Does it cost willpower to activate?
I don't think so. I can... Oh, okay, that rolled it.
One success.
How do I... Okay, I can do it like that.
Okay, let's see here. Requires a roll. Each success allows a character to create one tentacle 6 feet in length that must originate in the source of a shadow within 20 feet or 7 meters of the caster, with strength and dexterity of the caster equal to caster's tenebration rating. Yada yada yada. Da 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 da. Okay. Yeah, all right. That requires absolutely no. You can just summon tentacles all day and all night. Maybe not during the day, but
So weird.
all right. That's
Unless I have like copied it wrong, but
no, because that tracks some of the default V20 Lasombra powers require nothing. Like for instance, there's one where you can just create a bubble of shadow that can be of various large sizes, and it requires nothing to do it. And I think the tentacle ones might even do that as well in the normal V20. So, all right, you summon a single oozing black tentacle
Hopefully that's all I need.
comes up from the shadows. What shadow of your desire will it come from?
The one beneath the two of us, and I kind of wanted to slither up and grapple him, and hopefully can try to also make it so he can't turn his head.
Interesting. Go ahead and what is your obtenebration rating?
3.
Okay, so 3. Right. Not be soaked. Okay, so just roll me 3d10 for the tentacle itself in its attempt to grapple him.
I do think it gets potence, right? Or have I misunderstood that?
That is the thing that normally this gives potence, and on all other editions it does, but I didn't see
I
it in
don't
this
see anything
version,
about
so
potence in this one.
I don't
Okay.
know why.
I know
Okay, so
in
just 3.
default V20 it definitely has potence in there, but I don't see it written in the wording of that one.
Yeah, okay. So 3, right?
Okay, that's 3 successes to wrap him up. And just like that, he is hentied as he is immediately wrapped up in the tentacle.
How does it work? Can I spend a blood or something to take another action? Is that a thing? Or is that just if you have...
Do you have celerity?
No.
Okay. No, unfortunately. You essentially spend your turn popping that tentacle into existence and having it wrap around him. I would say you're still able to do a little bit of movement if you want.
I basically just want to be up right next to him so I can...
You're already in his face.
Numb.
Yeah. And he is not fully facing you yet. He's like sideways to you. But yeah, you go ahead and wrap him up with the tentacle.
All right, then I will kind of shift so I'm more behind him, so he has a less chance of getting a glimpse of me, I guess.
Fantastic. He, the turn moves on to him, and he attempts to struggle with this thing. So it's just going to be for him, for his strength. No. He remains wrapped up in it, cannot move or any of that. Also, does he take any damage from this thing grappling onto him? No, not unless you had told it to attack him. All right, great. So, yeah, he is held in place, and it moves on to Amelia.
I am turning around to see out of this alleyway. Is there any people that can see in here?
Not this far in. At this point, you are about 50 feet into the alleyway. So you can't even see the guard anymore. You just see the silhouette of the light coming from your lantern that you put down earlier in the alleyway.
All right. That is at least better. In that case, I will... Well, it seems to be under control, so I actually won't do anything. I will just keep a watch and be ready to act with other things if I see or hear anything approaching.
Okay. In that case, we'll fall out of initiative because there's no way he's going to escape from this thing. what do you do with your victim?
I feed.
All right. You bare your fangs, and you bite down into his neck. How much do you pull? Actually, no, I won't let you tell me. Instead, I ask a simple question of, roll me a fucking willpower check. And it's not a question, it was a trick.
Right. Current or max?
It's going to be
they're
your current.
Same, but at the moment, because...
Difficulty 6. You are looking to get at least 3 successes.
I do have controlled thirst.
Okay, all right.
It's this one. It's frenzy. I'm not sure if this is frenzy.
This is not a frenzy yet.
Okay. Well, let's see if it helps.
Oh gosh.
4 successes. Oh boy. Okay, wait. A horrible thought just crossed my mind. I need to... You had... Oh shit. Okay. Because I forgot about this, but only remembered it now, I will allow you, should you wish, to spend a willpower point to give you the extra success needed to counteract the overpowering sanguine feeling going through your body right now that is going to make you drain more than you want in this man. Or you can leave it to the 4 that it is. I will guarantee you that either way, you won't kill him. It's just the state that you leave him in. Super fucked up or fucked up under your control. Your choice.
No, I want to maintain control.
Okay. I forgot about
spend
the
one
sanguine
willpower.
inflamement for a moment, and then I remembered it when I saw the 4 successes and said, wait a minute. Okay. So you go ahead and spend a point of willpower. And you may dictate to me how many points you would like to take. And yes, for all of you's knowledge, you all have in fact been taught what is safe to drink. And it is not explained to you all in points of dots of blood. It was explained to you all in measuring one's heartbeat as you drink.
I will actually just do one, because I'm
Shocking.
actually not that hungry.
Okay, interesting. You take a single dot of blood, which still leaves you, I do believe, where you were previously, because I think you were full. Were you not?
Yeah, I'm not sure if we marked off for waking up this day, though. I don't remember.
I think we did mark off for waking up this day.
We've started the
I
day
don't
in the
remember if we
morning, I
had
think.
Yeah, so...
Yeah.
But you received blood in between that time and now.
Yeah.
So, yeah. You get a point of blood for the practice. It is exhilarating. And although it is muffled, boy. Roll me a d4. Okay, straight up a 4. All right. Funnily enough, the emotion that you get from him as you were taking this blood upon you is something that is extremely familiar to you as you were just going through a phase of it before your humors were changed. There is an unemotion within this blood. There is a stillness, there is a peacefulness, but it's muffled, and it's quickly overcome by your currently inflamed passions of courage.
I think when she feels that, she's actually gonna take another point.
Interesting. Okay. So you go ahead and you take another point. And his heartbeat slows a little bit more as you do, indicating that you have taken that second point to yourself. And you would see he sort of gives off a bit of a drunken moan, almost like, at this point.
All right. At that, she's just gonna like pull back and seal the wound. And yeah, she kind of lingers for just a moment and then walks over towards Emilia, still holding him in the.
Oh, I assumed as much. Yeah, there is still a pulsating tentacle that is holding him in place.
She walks up and she tries to say something, but I think can't be heard, or is it just stalled, or how does it work?
It is completely mute.
And she just continues walking of the thing again.
But do you walk up to Emilia, or what
Yeah.
do you do?
Yeah.
Alright, I guess since we react and turn to you, then she would look over towards the man. Then she would knock on her head and point to the man.
And I guess I'll tighten the tentacle to try to choke him out, basically.
Sure. When you turn and you begin to have the thought process of commanding the tentacle, you watch as his alertness begins to return to him. The tentacle begins to constrict. He never dropped the chisel, so he immediately starts shanking the ever-living shit out of the tentacle. Unfortunately for him, though, he is immortal, and there is nothing he can really do against a 6-foot tentacle coming out of the ground that is, about a little bit overpowering to him. So, do you kill him?
No, at least I try not to. Try my damnedest.
Okay, if you're going to try your damnedest not to kill him, then I will ask for a manipulation occult difficulty 6, just to make sure that you have the finesse down with the tentacle and you don't apply too much pressure and snap his neck on accident.
Okay. Speciality in occult abyss, I guess.
Yes, that will apply. Hello, cat.
Oh,
Okay.
God.
Doesn't matter what you rolled. 7, Jesus Christ. You are able to essentially pin him in place, and the tentacle is at your full will. You do not snap his neck by accident.
No.
Are you looking to put
And I
him
gently lay him
unconscious?
down.
Okay.
Yeah, make him unconscious and then basically gently put him on the ground.
As his vision is beginning to fade and he is choking his last breath before unconsciousness, a thought does come to mind in this span of time that alerts you, at least somewhere in the shadows of your mind, saying, this will be remembered still at this point.
Oh, I can't.
Maybe not all the details of it, but something will certainly be remembered of the time he was choked out in an alleyway by something weird.
I can't, like, command doesn't change memories, right? I can't
does not.
command him to forget or mesmerize him to forget.
No, it does not.
Oh, then... Oh,
I will
Hope
say
he
you are
justifies
confident
it.
he does not know what you look like. You are confident he does not know what you look like.
Yeah.
Okay. He passes into unconsciousness. I'm assuming at that point the tentacle lets him go. As he...
And slips down into the ground again.
Oh, it's more of a slow, thick, gooey slide from the tentacle. As he...
The silence disappears as well.
The silence disappears just as his face thuds into the cobblestone, and there's a little from his teeth inside of his mouth clicking on one of the stones as he lands on his face.
Excellent, Duchess. Well hunted. I just want to give a small advice, if I may, if I'm allowed to speak.
Speak?
Maybe don't use tentacles when you do hunts, as it can be hard to explain if you want to leave them alive. This will probably... I mean, you want it to be like a muggery or something when you do this?
Well, he did not see us, and I'm sure he didn't see the tentacle itself. He'll probably justify it away. Don't worry too much, it will be fine.
Alright, I will not worry then. And she will move, and Emilia will move over to the person and check that he's alive.
He is alive, breathing very slowly, but has a decent enough heart rate to tell you he'll make it through the night. If a catch pole comes through here, though, he's fucked. He's so going to prison.
Yeah. I'm gonna check his tattoo.
You check, it is a dagger with a 4-leaf clover pommel. It's not very big, but it is on the center of his wrist.
Dagger with a 4-leaf pommel. I will check his pockets as well, if he has anything that I would consider, in the trade of thieves and stuff, like lockpicks or...
What you would
anything
find
like
is 6 guilders, some excellently crafted woodworking tools. You would find shush it up. You would find a small note written in Niederdeutsch. However, it is encrypted. So making it out would take you... understanding its contents would take you some time of study. You would also find on him a signet ring of a house you do not recognize. 6 daggers excellently placed along his body, to be pulled out when he desires so that he can shank the ever-living shit out of someone. A small container of like a small vial of what looks to be soil. But it's not the soil of Bruges. It's soil from somewhere else. I don't know if Bruges has a particular soil that you could identify as unique. So, for instance, here in Georgia, we have red clay, whereas in a lot of other places they don't. But
I don't think we have anything unique here now.
yeah, this is unique, and it's probably soil from a coastal location, but much closer to the coast than the city sits.
Do I know... I might suspect I know the significance of soil.
You would know the significance of soil in the regards of an individual who is of the knightly persuasion. This is not being carried in a manner that speaks to you as someone of that persuasion.
Oh. I will pocket the 6 guilders and start pocketing the encrypted note, the ring, the vial.
Mhm.
And I would, as I do that, say, I think he's an assassin. Or something that you hire to get someone to be removed. He has a lot of weapons, encrypted notes. I hold it up. And I don't really know what this is for. She holds up the vial with the soil. Maybe to identify something. Compare.
So it looks like a key is trying to make.
Yes. I look over to the key.
Could you
Sorry.
make me a wits investigation, and how detailed are you searching him?
I mean, as we are here in the middle of here, I probably do not be fairly thorough. I mean,
Right.
I will try to look if there's anything hidden and so on him.
Sure. All right. Difficulty 6.
I might not roll Let It Remain, because this is maybe more thievery stuff I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
So, can I do Wits
I would
Let It
allow that.
Remain?
I would allow that. Yeah.
Alright, cool. Oh, what difficulty did you say?
6.
Alright.
Okay. Do you have any specialities?
In conjuring tricks when it comes to this, so no.
No. There is another letter on him. Well, it's not a letter, it's a note. It has the date and time of today, an hour from now, and it has the church, the name of the church written down on the note. And this particular note was hidden in the inseam of his crotch pants.
Alright. Alright. It's like a place and a date and a time.
The place, time, date. There aren't any names on it or any identifying marks on it or anything like that.
How far away is the church?
It's 50 feet up the alley.
I think he's here to take care of something in an hour, which he will fail now.
Poor old
That is
Chetney.
good.
Do you
His name
recognize
is
this
not
house?
Chetney.
Do you recognize this house? And I hold up the signet ring towards Isabella.
Let me
Isabella,
see.
you may make me a intelligence politics, difficulty 9.
Also, probably better that it's not Chetney. We don't want to deal with a werewolf.
Yeah, no, that would be very bad. By the way, for those of you curious, this individual is in like their 20s also. Just
And not
to
like 80
further
something.
clarify this.
It's not an old man.
Yeah, not an old
Very
man. This is a
short-lived.
very spry, very young lad who happens to be skilled at doing a couple of dirty things.
I do have speciality, but I'm not sure.
All
Canine
those
court in
dice.
politics and research in intelligence. Not sure if that
All
applies.
those dice. Ooh, interesting.
The more dice you get,
also
the
the more
worse.
chance of botches, it seems.
Yeah.
Go back over one more time your specialities.
Canine court and research.
No, those won't apply. This is not a signet ring to a house you recognize, if it even is a real signet ring at all.
Can I look if it looks like it's well crafted, or if it's like a shoddy
That
copy?
will take an intelligence craft check, difficulty 8.
I got research there.
You are unawares as to the ins and out of the making of signet rings and their crafting, and what makes a good one and what makes a knockoff.
Alright.
Either way, you take this information as it is, and we cut from the two of you, and we go back to our other players. as I do believe I have gotten a wonderful message from our lovely maiden that certain things have gone through. And if you would like to thematically tell us what it is that this reading is.
Sure. She'll shuffle the cards and she'll smile quite warmly to Victor. I hope you don't mind. I'm going to do past, present, and future reading because it's done quite a few big ones tonight. I'll happily do a more in-depth reading in the future.
That was absolutely fine.
Let's see what we have here. She'll turn over the first one, and it is a inversary of, on her deck, discs, not pentacles. And she'll just look at him, and she'll kind of have like her thumb to her lips for a second, as there's always like this kind of look in her eyes that she doesn't like the sword, like doesn't like this kind of card, but she'll just think for a second. In your past, there was times of heavy frustration, things that got in your way, stopped you, delayed you from your goals, your comforts. And she'll turn over the next one and kind of thankful that it is not upside down. That's the first thing. She's very honest in her emotions, and she does these. And it is the Page of Swords. And in these nights, that frustration and delays is not where it used to be. It carries a restlessness in these nights, but the obstacles are not as they were. Your curiosity has thrived, and your studious nature has bloomed into this mental energy that's breaking down these obstacles. But you get restless, as if you're still fighting against them, but you're breaking them down without you even realizing. And then the last card she draws is another reverse one, and it's the reverse Two of Swords. And sometime in your future, you're going to be in a position. It's gonna weigh heavy on you. You'll be confused no matter how you think it out. But there is no right choice in this future path for you. But despite this, you will pick the lesser of two evils, despite how blocked you feel. And she'll let him, if he wants to look at the cards, look at the art. And after that, she'll shuffle them back into her deck.
Curious.
Have you had any
Yeah.
readings ever done before?
Not really. Though when it comes to past and present, it does sound familiar.
I was taught how to do it in my village, but I wondered if there's any further books on it. If there's not just an art form, but a studious method behind it. I might look into it in the future. Though,
Well, there should be somewhere, at the very least. As in, I do believe it's an art that has been around for a while.
do you want to go out for a walk too, or do you want to stay
Well,
enjoy the company here for the whole time?
considering I have some time, we could. On the other hand, there is some more information that might be had here tonight. And sort of look over, see if I see... What was his name again? Knut? Probably not.
I'm sorry, who are you looking for?
Kunkel.
Oh, Kunkel! Yes, Kunkel is, it looks like he is currently wrapping up his mediation and is sort of looking like he's packing his things.
When it comes to future, I sort of look at Rosa. We're going to need more than a bit of resources, or we're going to need an income. I do think that Kunkel's contacts with this new brew thing might be interesting, as it's still quite new. Something perhaps to excite the masses. But I'm feeling like it might also be interesting to, let's say, look into the more tried and tested market as well.
And what parts of the tried and tested market do you want to build upon?
I have it on authority of one of the ghouls, I believe it was, that told me this, that there is a bit of a trade in illegal substances in the part of town which we will be proceeding over.
Seeing as your eye was in that direction, you would see Kunkel beginning to make his way towards the bar itself with a very serious stride.
Then again, I guess fishing for more information about that could wait. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure how to do the rest of the night at the moment. What do you think? Should I try and inform, see if Kunkel knows anything about this trade going on in the district?
If that's what you want to do, go for it. Just, she kind of, she looks a bit uneasy at the thought of this illegal substances, but she'll just shrug. As long as you say it's going to be in our district, yes? If we're going to profit, we'll look after them too, right?
Well, if we're in control of what substances are being sold and where, we'd at least make sure that in our district the people stay healthy.
Okay.
I prefer
for
the
it.
idea of our part of town to stay at a certain, well, to say it in a less mindful manner, I guess, of a proper quality.
There's a bit of commotion at the bar itself. And
Kunkel getting into a fight?
Well, you can see Kunkel nods a couple of times, and there's a bit of a wide-eyedness to the bartender, who immediately clears a few glasses from the table and takes Kunkel by the hand and helps him onto the top of the table. And immediately the bartender then slams down an empty mug twice onto the table, and the room goes silent around you, and everyone's heads begin to turn in that direction. Kunkel. Hello, everyone. I am to announce that Count Lucius Leguillemont and Count Fresco de la Torre are to duel at sunrise in the main square for the honor of Lady Beatresca Frangilla. I myself will be proxy of Count Lucius Leguillemont as his champion. The champion of Count Fresco de la Torre will be decided between the intergram of time. That is all. And there's a bit of a murmur that begins to take over the populace of the inn here, the tavern here, and the madam immediately sort of perks up and goes, well, drinks are half off for the next hour. Yes, to celebrate this event. And there's a bit of the murmur quickly turns from a murmur to a bit of a, hey, as that is announced. And Kunkel steps down.
Well then,
You're
seems there's
local.
going to
Who
be
are you
blood
rooting
sport in the
for?
morning. Sorry?
You're local. Who are you rooting for?
Honestly, probably for Kunkel in this particular case.
As a
No.
local, you would know that Count Lucius Leguillemont is actually someone who has a monopoly over the mills of Bruges and has made quite a living off of it. He's a surly type individual and also a bit of a snob, but he pays real well, at least to his employees. And has been known in the past to womanize. Count Fresco is one of the newer bloods in the game of money, and is sort of an upstart from a very successful mercantile company that he started. And you believe last you heard of it, Lady Betressa Frangilla was to be betrothed to Latora.
Oh, so that is quite interesting. Francesca Beatrice...
But Beatrice Frangilla is her
Beatrice
full name.
Frangilla was
Yeah.
supposed to be already betrothed to one of the two, to the
Count Fresco di Latora.
De La Torre character. The other man, however, like Count Driscoll, is also a bit of a womanizer as far as I've heard. Pays well, though. Owns most of the mills around town. Well, since drinks are half off, I don't think that matters much. How much time do we have before I expect Count Driscoll to sort of show up here?
If Driscoll is to turn up tonight, he should be arriving within the next half an hour. Within that time frame, I should say.
I might have someone interesting join in the next half hour. It's this Count Driscoll that I have an interest in.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not expecting him to look like much, but apparently he's feisty. Which is interesting, in a way. Not the way you think.
I wasn't actually, but now you said it. Are you gonna book a room?
No, probably not. As in, not entirely sure how to approach this yet. I would actually be interested in trying to befriend him, I guess. So I'm going to try and be social with him, but...
Well, drinks are half off. Fantastic starting point.
Then again, I might be able to get some of the drinks for free as well. Depending. Give me a moment, and I'll walk up, stand up, and walk to the madam.
Her eyes lock on you as you begin to cross the room, and she sort of watches your gait, and you can tell that she's trying to read you a bit, as she sort of recomposes herself from the excitement that is beginning to overtake the patrons, who are eagerly rushing
Every
up.
time I walk, is the staff, by the way, as in... I'm taking that staff everywhere at the moment.
But yeah, there's a rush of a few patrons that go past the two of you, sort of quickly making their way to the bar. But you make your way up to her, and she's recomposed herself by the time you do. Yes.
Hi again.
Oh, hi.
Say, very good. It's a nice evening so far. Say, you wouldn't happen to know what kind Driscoll's favorite drink is?
Ooh, the man is a bit of a brandy guy.
Brandy guy. Say, when it comes to a friend, how much would it be for the services of having a few of your, let's say some of his favorite girls, to join me and my friend over at the table with a bottle of brandy and a couple of glasses?
That'll only run you 5 guilders.
Only 5 guilders? Am I expected with 2 resources? Would that be something that I'll have easily available?
Yeah, that's pocket change.
In that case, I'm not even going to bother to get it for free. I'm just going to pay her 5 guilders and be like, thank you very much. Much obliged. Can bring that to or have them bring it to the table. Thank you.
It will be done. Give us maybe 2 shakes, and it will be all settled.
I'll toss an extra guilder in there.
Okay. She motions over to, funnily enough, someone you didn't realize has been in the establishment this entire time. In the dark recesses of a corner, in the far back corner, there is a small boy, no older than 13, who quickly rushes from a stool up to the madam, and she whispers to him, and he quickly dashes up the stairs. And a lot of the patrons don't even seem to notice him as he does this.
I'll go back to sit back down at the table. So, we'll be having some company soon.
Well done.
I figure he's interested in some of the girls here, as in, might as well have them join us. We can make merry with a few more people, and we instantly have his attention.
Well played. Ooh, she just kind of looks at him, bewildered but impressed.
Within a few
No
moments...
idea this is going to work. So.
Yeah. Within a few moments, you would see 2 women making their way down the stairs in wonderfully immaculate dresses, despite their profession. And they would quickly make their way over to the bar. It seems that they grab a tray of drinks and begin heading in your direction.
Right. I'll sort of straighten myself up at the table, not entirely sure how to act either.
Sure. How does the maiden act as she sees these 2 ladies approaching your table? It looks like they have a pitcher of brandy and some fine glasses headed your way.
Since they're in absolutely gorgeous finery, and no doubt pretty lady themselves, she's probably just going to, before she even says hi, just start complimenting them just a little bit. Not the best for, I guess, manners, but
Sure.
yeah.
One's like a solid 8, the other one's like a 6. She's like sort of cute, but yeah. The 2 of them sit down. They put glasses before you. They sort of introduce themselves. The one who is an 8, she has sort of auburn hair, the light spackling of freckles. Probably stands around 5'4", decent sized chest, and is in a beautifully hand tailored dress that's probably from the wear of the colors no older than 3 years old, at least in her wardrobe, and looks to be of Italian descent, and she sort of sits and says, well, I'm Amelia, Grassa. This is Donbass.
Boss, Emilia, very nice to meet you.
And Donbass sort of, she's the sixth. She sort of just squeamishly raises her hand and waves. Doesn't say anything. And she's, while Emilia looks sort of average body-wise, Donbass is much more skinny. She looks almost close to anemic. But she does look fed. It's just a really small figure. And she doesn't seem to speak at all as she begins to pour some glasses for the two of you. And Amelia sort of chimes up. You are...
Victor.
Victor. That wouldn't happen to be a... Oh boy, it's always tricky saying this particular name. Sir Victor Tommaso Portanari, I believe.
You're very, very well informed, it seems.
You have... your name has been spoken before in these circles. Don't worry, it's of nothing lewd or unbecoming. Simply that we should keep an eye should you ever desire coming to these sections.
Now you have my curiosity. I wonder who might have inquired.
Well, as I understand it, you had a cousin who passed through maybe a month ago, who sort of bedazzled the ladies here, and at another establishment, I believe, over several drinks about how well endowed your purse was.
Ah, I understand, I guess. Well, to the purse, I would say, and please help yourself to a drink.
Thank you very much. Donbass. The two of them finish pouring your drinks and pour themselves drinks before Donbass sort of squeamishly looks towards the maiden and says, And, your name?
You may just call me the Maiden.
Interesting. Mysterious. You can see like a single bead of like a cold sweat coming down the side of her face.
Yeah, not entirely sure how much of this conversation we should roleplay, but basically Victor is trying to make pleasant conversation and turn this table into a nice place to sit at, have these ladies try and make them comfortable as well.
Sure. What I would ask is what subjects do the two of you try and breach with them?
We'll start with light subjects that don't really go any particular direction, at least for Victor. Just trying to get them to open up a bit, to feel comfortable, that kind of thing.
Sure.
And eventually he would start to turn slowly at like 15 minutes in, 20-ish minutes in, towards that he has an interest in the business of Count Risco. And he's sort of wondering if they can tell him anything about him.
Sure. What they would be able to tell you about him is very little. They'd be able to tell you that he pays extremely well. He's always on time for some unknown reason. What they are aware of is that there is a high possibility he'll be showing up tonight. But they aren't 100% on that, because there have been times where he's been worded to come overnight and then something would happen. Beyond that, Donbass would share that she's heard news recently that he has discovered a daughter.
Oh dear. So potentially bastard daughter.
Yes. And I'd say as that time passes, if Amelia and Isabella are looking to make their way back in, I'd say that they could make their way back in at that portion of time.
It would depend a little. Emilia wanted to ask something before we left them. As I would say, do you want me to stalk the church to determine who he was after, or is it not important?
I suppose I am a little bit curious. I suppose we could take a walk.
Oh, you want to? Okay, we can go together. Of course.
Would you rather do it on yourself, on your own?
If it's dangerous, I don't want to place you in any danger to do this reconnaissance. I don't know what kind of meeting this is. If it's a meeting between someone or if it's there to actually kill someone. It might be guards.
Sure, but we're just taking a walk, are we not?
Alright. We have to go back and get the light. And
Very
I will
well.
take 5 of the 6 daggers.
Okay. All right.
You should probably take the gilders as well.
Oh, I have already taken them. She says.
Clever girl.
I also took the notes, the ring, and the vial.
Good. I'll have to look into the ring more.
Alright. Should I carry it for you in case we get searched during the night so you have nothing on you?
Sure. You will hand it over.
I will take back the ring then.
Okay.
And he might get thrown in in jail if they find him here. But if we take his shoes and just throw them somewhere, he would probably just be robbed then, and then he would probably avoid jail. Do you want to do that, this courtesy?
Why would taking his shoes make a difference?
Because if he has been robbed, why wouldn't he take the shoes?
Why would you take the shoes?
Cobblers pay a great price for used shoes.
And they have a value for people that do not trade in, in nobler situations. People that have to scrounge for food. They normally you can take boots to sell for a couple of quarter guilders.
What a world we live in. Very well.
We can leave them on. I mean, he might be able to convince the guard he was robbed anyway.
No, that is fine. Take his shoes.
Right. I will remove his shoes.
Okay, you go to remove his shoes. His left shoe has an indistinct clear slime that comes with it.
Is these actually very expensive boots, or are they normal boots?
Funnily enough, as you take off his boots, you would realize these are not normal boots. These boots are probably made by either a very good cobbler or by him himself, as they are particularly lined and padded to make his steps very quiet.
I knew it, she says as she takes off the foot. He has custom-made boots. Oh, they're kind of similar to mine, actually. Oh, we have similar padding.
If you want to, go ahead and give me an intelligence craft check to see what this would be like considered. Rarity-wise, I should say.
No, I'm not
You're
really craft.
not exactly someone who knows like the level of crafts it would take to make something like this. But something in the back of your mind says it's a specialty piece.
I probably have boots that have more inlaid padding to make my steps more lighter as well.
Yeah.
But I have bought mine. I have not done them myself.
Knowing what it is to buy shoes that usually have that extra padding where it's enough to make your steps quieter, that usually the padding alone runs around 10 guilders just for the padding that you have in your shoes. And this looks like it's better padding and made out of a finer material.
Oh, I am keeping these boots. This is a craftsmanship. These are probably worth 20 guilders or even more.
If it makes you happy.
And was
And
that
she like turns down her head and be like, and then she just puts it in her bag basically, and then it's probably full now because he's not really used to have boots in them, so it's probably a bit bulgy.
Clunky.
it was in that moment that Amelia developed a slight foot fetish.
Yes. No.
Oh no.
Right. Let's take a walk then.
So, the two of you take a enthusiastic moonlit walk, minus a red cape and glasses, to go patrolling around the cathedral, and seeing the sights of Bruges. The guard at the cathedral, when you come back around the corner, after picking back up the lantern, of course, doesn't seem to pay you any heed or mind.
Oh, he is outside the same cathedral.
Well, the guard that he talked to, the guard was talking out of the side of his mouth while he was standing near the mouth of the alleyway. He's still stationed there, but he couldn't see much further into the alleyway. Go ahead.
It did kind of seem like he was trying to pretend like he wasn't talking to the man,
He
right?
did try and pretend like he wasn't talking to him, absolutely, yeah.
I'll point this out to Emilia as well.
I do want to ask one thing. Do you guys do anything with the key that he was trying to whittle?
I would look at it, I guess.
Okay, it
To
is.
see what kind of.
It's really good work, but it looks like it's it looks like Amelia might actually have specific knowledge of this thanks to her upbringing. It looks like it is the key to a lock commonly fitted to a cell door.
He might be breaking someone out, actually. This is a cell key. And Emilia actually drags her fingers across the teeth to really get the feeling of it on the key.
Great craftsmanship from what he had gotten done so far, and you can tell he'd whittled it down to like 85% of the key is done. He'd whittled this down, and looking at the shavings around, in the time between when you spotted him and when you caught up with him in the alleyway.
He's super good at this.
One of the fastest wood whittlers in the West.
Alright, so he's probably going to make a spare key and give this back to the guard. I would guess, otherwise he could just borrow it. Making the guard would probably go looking for it after a while.
He doesn't have an actual key on him.
No,
He's
he doesn't.
No. He's just carved down the wooden chunk that he had down to the point
okay,
where it's almost a key at this point.
Oh. And he has no picture of it? He has just seen the key.
There was a bit of an outline on the wood, a very rough outline on the wood at that. And there are some small on the chunk that is left, on the wood block chunk that is left, there are some small markers that are just numbers. And
so he's marked where the teeth will be, probably, even if he hasn't finished them yet.
yeah, he's marked where the teeth will be, and it looks like he's marked the thickness of the key. It looks like he marked the length of the key. It looked like he marked a lot of details down in just a couple of quick numbers that are written down on the chunk of wood that is left.
But he wasn't like standing in front of a door or something like that.
No,
right?
no. Well, technically, yes, there is a door not too far from him, but it's like the door to a clothing shop. And he didn't seem to be paying it any interest. He was more leaning against the wall back there, whittling away at this, when you guys approached him.
Well, a part of me wants to find out what cell is going to open and see who's inside it. But that's a bit rash part of me.
An interesting conundrum, isn't it? How do we go about doing that?
We will check if there is any back door to the cathedral and then see if we can find a way to the dungeons. And if there are anyone's there, bypass the guards, then approach the cell. But to do that, we might have to fix this cipher. I just hold up the note that has this like coded message on it, as it might have details to who we're actually after.
Let me see.
Yeah. And she will go forward and stand next to you and hold out the note so you both can look at it.
Where
I
are
will
the
try to
two of you when you're
decipher
looking
this-
at this note?
What do you say?
Where are the two of you when you're looking at this note? Are you on your enthusiastic walk, or are you still relatively close to the alleyway?
Have we started walking yet?
I
So-
guess we would have been walking since we kind of went past the guard as well,
Yeah.
right?
I guess we will like stop somewhere then and then stand with the lantern and look at the note.
Okay. Both of you understand Italian, correct?
No, but I do have Latin.
Okay. You would...
I have Italian.
Okay, so you would understand what is said. Isabella would not. There is a sort of... very loud yell that comes in the direction of the alleyway that you guys left not too long ago. And Amelia would just hear a man screaming, "Damn you, Bruges," several times over and over again. And the sound, both of you would hear like the distant echo of like a crate or a barrel or something like smashing into a million pieces that echoes very well acoustically. And there are a couple people in the street who like look off in that direction very worriedly and stop moving to pay attention to this.
You should probably move without sight if someone comes back from that Alice we just saw us leave. He might ask questions.
I suppose. I'm pretty sure he did not see us though, but
No, but
That is safe and
people might
sound.
have seen us walk in to the alleyway. Or probably not seen me. I mean, no one noticed me.
if you say
The
so.
GM always notices.
I tried to decrypt the note.
Sure, intelligence enigma. Difficulty
I actually
7.
have stats in that.
Can I do it as well if she kind of tells me what it translates to?
Is the note in Italian as well?
so, yeah.
Yes, the note is in Italian. Yeah, I suppose you could, but I'd say because you're having to go through a translation, difficulty 8.
Okay.
2 successes for you. Okay.
Success.
Do you have
Okay.
research and intelligence if that applies?
No, that would not apply. For Amelia, you can get through you can decipher most of this. It is essentially here, I'll just say this. To my brother Vestezo, unfortunately, cousin has found himself within the shackles of the church. I require your services. In the payment of 6,542 guilders, I require him to be released immediately and returned back to our homeland. The rebellion goes well. Your child will be avenged. soon. Have hope, do well, return alive.
All right, I will translate this to Isabella then. So, a cousin in the church, 6,500 guilders. That's not that's kind of a lot of money.
Oh. The rebellion, is there like an active rebellion in
That depends on who you ask. I mean, technically, the entire church is in active rebellion at the moment. I mean, you have the Catholics on one side, then you have the Protestants in open rebellion. Could be that. It could also, there is... give me a wits politics in the moment, if you can think if there are any active like political war zones going on.
I might know a brotherhood that is having a war at the moment.
Pop me a message as to your inclination.
The Brotherhood of Assassins with the Templars.
Maybe, could be.
Maybe.
Interesting.
I will also do, I guess, with politics. I will not get as much though.
5 successes. You would know that currently there is 2 rebellions technically going on. There's a small countywide rebellion going on in the territory of Bohemia. Although you aren't sure who the rebelling faction is or what they're rebelling for entirely. You remember there was some discussion about Lutherans at one point, but you're not sure if that's what's being talked about here. And the other rebellion you know about is that in France, just across the border, there is actually a small war going on between 2 of the local counts. It's something that is very much common in this time period, where one count is trying to gobble up the lands of another one. And it wouldn't be too surprising if there were loyalists of one of the counts on the other side that are trying to diminish the gains of the enemy count. That could also be what's in reference here. Or it could straight up just be Catholics versus Protestants.
Does that have any like specific with the 2 as well? If that is connected to these, if I can remember anything about that.
You'd need a little bit more information, and you'd be able to connect the dots entirely, you feel. Just a tiny bit more information, and you'd be able to connect them entirely. For Amelia, with only 3 successes, yeah, your thoughts would go to the technical rebellion that is the Catholic and Protestant Church.
And the note said that this was 2 Brother Vestaccia. So what you said this name was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, what was the name? I wrote down Estesio.
Very close. Very close. You said Estesio? How did you even spell that? Pistachio.
Like it sounds like that? No.
Change the E to an I, and add a V. to the front of it, and
I typed
change
that,
the
but that's
change the S to a C. The second S to a C.
Like that?
Yeah, and then have your DM say it weird. That's how I have it
All
written
right.
down in my notes.
all right.
Right?
Brother Vistesha. All right. And the one who wrote the note didn't have a name, right? But he said my cousin is in the church, as like being caught in the church.
Correct.
Dungeons. And the award is 6,500 guilders. And he's supposed to return back to his homeland. And this is written in Italian.
Mhm.
Would it correlate then to the Protestants versus the Catholics if it's to the Italian border? Or
There's a high chance that is the connection here.
Alright.
Also, I will remind the players that just at the end of last year, was the Battle of White Mountain between the Catholics and the Protestants got their ass royally handed to them in that battle.
all right.
We are going to take a short break, and we will be right back. See you soon. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Children of the Cup. The Shadow Renaissance. I should say the full title more often. Either way, bringing us back in, the two of you are on your enthusiastic walk, debating as to whether or not you will go back and possibly either free the prison or give the rogue back his shit. I'm not entirely sure what the conclusion of that will be.
I think we should go back. It doesn't. This is not really our business.
Go back to the inn, you mean? Well, the
Yes, to
tavern.
Victor and the maiden.
I suppose. What if it's
Unless-
something important, though?
I am fairly sure the Duchess it is important to some, but I'm not sure it's important to us. Are you planning to
Well-
help this rebellion? Do you want to have good favors?
Oh no. What good does ever come out of rebellion?
Couple of things, actually, but moving on.
Well, then I don't think there is much to be gained here. Except new enemies.
I suppose you're right. But she still kind of stands looking at the...
Unless the good
Other
servant
way.
Mile, she just stands there waiting. Because the real decision is on Isabel what we're doing.
Just saying. Just saying. Anyways. Rebellion.
For some reason, I imagine Isabella still thinking the same.
It hasn't happened yet in her timeline.
No, it hasn't.
So,
It hasn't. This is very true, but, rebellion.
She's an aristocrat. She probably will stick with her opinion, even if
A
it
French
happens.
one at that, so yeah, it's going to take Robespierre to change her mind.
Yep.
Yep. All right, let's go back then.
Alright.
Okay. The two of you decide to head back in the direction of the man screaming, "Damn you, Bruges." He's no longer screaming that, just to clarify. Okay, but the camera does in fact break away from the two of you, make its way back towards the inn itself.
We will make our way back to the inn, just to specify that.
They're actually going to the tavern, I think. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're going to Victor
Okay.
and the maiden.
All right, now I'm hella confused. We're not giving the roguish shit back.
No,
No.
it's our shit now.
Okay.
It's
All
our
right.
rogue shit now.
Hippity hoppity, where the fuck is my property? All right, gotcha.
Hippity woppity, Xenos are property.
Hey! You get an extra experience point. All categories. All right.
Because
Anyways.
we've got extraterrestrials in this game. Yep.
No, it's just DM bias. All right. Moving on. Go ahead and so we will actually cut in that case to the two of you walking back into the tavern and seeing Victor and Rosa, or the maiden, or whatever else you want to call her, in conversation with two decent-looking ladies over some brandy. And Victor and the maiden, as both of your eyes go up to meet their gaze as they come in, you would also see a individual stepping in through the door behind them. Not so tall individual, sharply dressed, with a bit of a baldish bowl haircut, but where it's like, the There's a certain performance, I can't remember what played it. It's the play where the guy sings, I am the very model of a modern Major General. There's a performance of that where the guy has like the perfect haircut to describe this one. Where it's like extremely floofy. It goes from about here all the way back to the back. This is all missing entirely, extremely shiny, but is like partially covered by a little bit of a hat. And from the description of this individual, Victor would immediately recognize this as Count Driscoll. And he sort of steps in, but a moment after Isabella and Amelia arrive.
Ah, Isabella, Amelia, welcome back.
Thank you.
Amelia looks at you and... I'm sorry?
Ah, I should introduce you. This is Amelia and Donbass.
You
I'm
are also
Amelia.
named Amelia. Ah, this is awkward. Not really.
It doesn't have to be.
Yes, no, it doesn't have to be. Please, join us. I was not expecting more individuals. I shall get more glass. Actually, Donbass, please, get more glasses. And the shorter, quieter, thinner girl gets up and sort of does a little bit of a curtsy to the two of you, and begins making her way towards the bar. Count Driscoll locks eyes with Victor immediately over Amelia's shoulder, your Amelia's shoulder, and like gives you the laser beam of the meme of the crab with a knife shooting laser beams out of its eyes. He gives you that look before continuing on past your table.
Well, when they come in and he sort of shoots me that look, I'll raise a glass towards him, and they see you bring a new friend as well.
I'm not expecting to have you actually say something to him. He stops, composes himself very quickly, and says, yes, I am Count Driscoll. I am not actually with your friends, no. I'm sorry, you are.
Oh, the name's Victor. Victor Portinari. Please, have a drink. Come sit with us.
This makes more sense. Perhaps in a moment. I have some business to take care of very quickly, and then I will be glad to join the... Oh, wow, 6 of you. he scuttles off towards the bar.
Good.
Not your Amelia sort of looks over to you, Victor, and says, you do travel with quite the host of ladies.
Well, now that you mention it, and I sort of look at the rest of the group and sort of look at, I guess I do.
Yeah, there are a couple of dirty looks being given your way.
Yes. Isabella is one of them.
Isabella, please, it's not like... I hadn't even really thought about it that way yet.
What
Yeah.
way?
Well, now it's being said.
What is being said? She says, and she smiles and sits down and looks small.
I'm not like Count Driscoll, okay?
I don't understand what you mean.
Well, me neither.
She curls a little with her hair.
Ugh.
Not Amelia sort of looks at the whole situation and suddenly has like this look of very awkward as she's not entirely sure what the dynamics of everything going on at this table are.
Don't worry, they're like family. It's all good.
Oh, okay. I was beginning to wonder. Okay. Welcome back, I assume.
Family's one way to call it, she says, continue twerking her hair a little.
Ross comes back with 2 extra glasses and puts them in front of your Amelia and Isabella, and begins to pour
Thank
them
you.
some brandy.
Well, I hope the walk was okay. Did you all find what you needed?
Yes, it was a lovely evening.
Good to hear.
Takes and taste the brandy a little.
It is an apple brandy, and it is quite good. Not the best, but quite good.
She will drink responsibly, so she will drink slowly, but she will drink it because, I mean, it's nice. And she was given a glass.
Well, Are any of the rest of you, Italian, perchance? I was having a lovely conversation with the maiden, as it were.
I am from Italy as well.
Ah, what part?
Venice.
Ah, it's a beautiful, beautiful city of Venice. That is amazing. I myself am from Roma.
Ah. That is also very beautiful.
Yes, yes. Quite crowded this time of year.
That's true. So how has it been going for you two on your things? She looks over to Victor and the maiden. Have you done your thing as well?
Our Victor's night is just beginning, and I've enjoyed the company so far.
Glad to hear, she says and smiles up.
You should make a habit of coming here. I like the atmosphere.
Boss kind of perks up and says, "You all are more than welcome to come by more often."
The two ladies seem quite comfortable in the current conversation.
Still adjusting to the dynamics of the relationship despite the word family being thrown around.
I am gesticulating with my left hand. I am doing gestures with my ring hand. Just making that. Only one at this table with a ring on her hand.
Isabella has one as well.
Yeah, Isabella does have a ring on her hand as well.
Where did? Okay, I didn't know that characters. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Doesn't Victor also have the signet ring?
He probably has a signet ring.
Would he be wearing it?
Probably, if this was a night out, probably.
Okay. Gotcha. Well, okay.
Wedding rings I was on about.
But when this conversation is going on, his attention is sort of spread out between the table and where Count Driscoll is going. Is he like still within eyesight or within earshot somewhere?
He is currently at the bar talking to the madam.
All right. Attention being sort of divided between the table and there, I would like to try and catch the conversation.
Okay, in that case, go ahead and make me perception alertness difficulty 7.
Difficulty 7. Perception. I have the perception speciality of keen hearing, I believe.
Roll some tens, bitch. Oh! Okay. Interesting. No tens
That
needed.
seems like way too many dice.
That seems like way too many dice.
Yeah, that seems like way too many dice.
How many dice do you have in alertness and
6
perception?
maybe?
I should have 6 with one modifier of thingy. No, wait, 7. 4 plus 3, so I should have 7 plus 1 for heightened sensors.
So it rolled 6
So
more,
it's
but
6 more.
But when you clicked it, did you see how much I put the modifier or anything?
I might have mistyped the difficulty modifier. That could be.
Difficulty shouldn't do any difference on the die.
Yeah, but I do think I might have misplaced the difficulty modifier to the modifier.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what
Oh.
you're saying. Okay.
Which
Yeah.
is probably why
Roll
this went
again.
into shit. So let's make a proper roll this time. There we go.
Even better. All right.
And keen
Okay.
hearing.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
The tens are already included, I think.
Yeah.
shit.
It
All right.
is.
Count Driscoll's dirty laundry. Here we go. You begin to do your best to listen in over to the conversation that the madam and Driscoll are having, and you would immediately begin to tune into the conversation at a very peculiar point. You would hear Count Driscoll say, "Yes, I know, but if we want to go ahead and rely on this individual, how should I put this? I do not find it wise to leave such an individual alive after doing such a deed for us. So, I simply am putting it out there. Maybe afterwards we go ahead with Plan C and do the thing." And the madam sort of perks up and says, "It's so barbaric. I do not see a problem with what you are proposing. However, perhaps we could wait a night, maybe even two. We already know where he is to go to after he has completed the deed. We can, should we decide, take care of everything there in the hideout." And the Risco sort of nods his head a couple of times and says, "Fair enough, but either way, you'll have to talk to, what is that peasant's name? Vicazzo? Whatever the fuck the brother's name is. Have him dealt with, too."
What name was that?
It's the same name. It's brother, Vicazzo. Is what he would have said, but it's actually two of you would know that is not actually brother Vicazzo. That's not how it's actually said. You would know that yeah. So in your notes it's going to be Vicazzo, but in their notes they will know what the correct one is.
Yeah. I'm writing it as I hear it. So
Once we take care of everything that needs to be taken care of, I am told that the Swedes will be joining us soon, so we can go ahead and reclaim everything that we have lost so far, including the property that we have lost in the north. But other than that, I do think we also need to take care of the little issue of the daughter that has suddenly appeared. And the maiden kind of... Is your head turned in that direction to see what's going on there? Or no, not the
Sure.
maiden, but the madam. The madam.
Oh.
Is Victor's head turned in that direction to see what's going on?
no, not to see, just to listen. So
Okay.
his head might be tilted in that direction, but his
Sure.
eyes are like at the table.
There's a pause in the madam's speech before she says, "It is true that yes, you do suddenly have a heir to your wealth, but I do not think killing her is necessary. She could be put to use. I am more than positive that Kunkel can find some solution in the legality so that the territories still pass over to Tresco once you fall in a month. It is unnecessary to, just because she has appeared, assume that everything will go to her. She is a bastard at the moment. You've not even officially recognized her, and I'm sure Kunkel will have some way to make sure that Tresco receives everything that he is owed."
Yeah, talking about dress code, like it's not him.
Tresco.
Tresco, okay.
Again, someone that the party knows that Victor does not know.
Mm.
And I'm not
I s-
listening into this. I don't know anything.
Correct. I suppose you are correct. I am sure Kunkel will live through his duel, apparently, in the morning. Things need to go smoothly, and if they don't, your and my head are on the line, and Tresco will seek revenge. Just keep that in mind. Taking her out is a surefire solution to making sure that he gets what he is owed. And the two of them change the conversation entirely, begin to speak a little bit louder, and he says, "My usual, good darling, that is all I ask for. Don't try and raise the price on me so suddenly." And yada, yada, yada.
That is a point at which Victor seems to like snap back to the table, as if he was gone for a bit.
And I'm
sorry,
talking
what
to
was
the
that
other
one?
people, just being nice to them.
You're not Amelia. Amelia has quickly gone back into her conversations with the maiden in Italian, and the two of them probably talking about the beauties of Rome and fashion in Rome currently and things like that. When you turn back to the table, as to what Isabella is doing, that's up to her.
I think she's mostly listening into the conversation between Emilia and I forgot the other woman's name now.
Amelia.
No, wasn't Emilia talking with Rose?
Yeah. And I guess I'm talking to the other girl then.
Yeah. So she will kind of listen into that one and give a few comments at times, but other than that, just look at the crowd more or less.
Cool.
Right.
Before you go on, Victor, I need the maiden to give me a perception awareness. Difficulty 7.
Sorry, what was that?
Perception awareness, difficulty 7.
Okay. Perception, awareness, difficulty 7, and all specs is modifier, right?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't remember. It's okay. Next. Was it, how much do I have in all specs again?
Let me
okay.
go check.
I found it.
Okay, got it.
Perception. Oh, crap. I messed up. I put difficulty. I didn't change difficulty. Sorry. 2 successes. Wait. What? Yeah. 2 successes. Ignore the 6. I put
Okay.
6 instead of 7. You know what
Gotcha. You're sort of a little... You're having your conversation, and you zone out for a moment because you notice come through the door the faceless specter.
Okay.
It's going to make for an interesting conversation at the table.
Well, she sees him come in, and he reaches out in the direction of the maiden, and there's the ring of the church bells, and he disappears. A few moments later, he reappears outside the window.
She'll be sure to engage and finish off her conversation as politely as she can, and just say, I just need some air. I'll be back shortly. And she'll just excuse herself and go outside.
You head outside, and as you do, as you open the door to the establishment and make your way outside, you turn to where you last saw this individual, and they're not there. And in the alleyway nearby, you see the figure slowly walking into the alleyway. Straight up Silent Hill style.
Some fog.
Yeah, she'll follow.
Okay. You follow. A fog mysteriously comes from nowhere.
Yeah.
No, seriously, a fog does come from nowhere in the alleyway. And you can see him walking slowly through the alleyway, away from you at the moment.
She'll continue to catch up, follow.
Sure. You'd be able to catch up to him. Or, whoops. You'd be able to catch up to it. Do you say anything when you catch up? Because he continues to walk.
Yeah, she'll say evening.
Okay, it doesn't make any attempt to respond at first. Like, there's a good 20 seconds that go by before finally, like a weird stutter, like a glitch in the Matrix, the fog stutters, it stutters, and for a moment you see it like shoot in your direction, reaching out towards you, and it looks like it's trying to scream something at you, and then suddenly it snaps back to the fog rolling normally and it continuing to walk with the fog down the alleyway. And it makes a left to go down another alleyway and keep following the back streets.
Okay. Do you want me to follow? She'll continue following unless it... She'll just say, make a whatever sign if you don't want me to follow, that kind of thing.
Okay, another 20 seconds of nothing goes by before what you would see is there's another glitch. The fog suddenly stops, reverses a little bit, and then catches back up to where it was earlier. And he is an individual. You see, for a moment, he's walking normally, but as soon as the glitch happens, you see him being dragged across the cobblestone floor down the alleyway by something larger and jet black, wearing a, well, not jet black, but wearing a large black cloak with a scythe over its right shoulder and this oozing, dripping, viscous, drool-like substance coming out of the hood. You cannot see its face before the glitch stops and it's walking again normally.
Okay, has she experienced anything like this or knows anything about this
Never
in the
before.
lessons? Is this for like
However-
memory? No. Okay.
However, the individual with the scythe looks oddly familiar.
Oh, okay. Just
As a
Like-
reminder, during the ritual that gave Isabella her sight, this figure was seen.
okay.
Also,
The
it
two-
didn't seem to like Amelia.
Yeah, the two of you continue to walk. And another individual, this time not faceless. This time it's a man well into his 50s or 60s, you're not entirely sure. Patches of bald mixed with patches of blondish shocks of wild hair. In a nightgown that's disheveled and torn. His feet are covered and caked in mud. Also a spectral form begins to walk next to him. And the two continue to walk along for a few steps before, through the wall of one of the buildings, another individual apparates. This time it's a woman, at least in her 70s, no teeth, puckered lips, massive amounts of wrinkles, a huge hunch in her back, also in her nightgown, and with stringy black hair that's extremely greasy. And she walks with a bit of a hobble, but she joins into this pack, and there's another glitch in the spectral plane as you see all three of these individuals screaming, writhing, and kicking for help as they're being dragged by three separate entities that look all the same. And the procession goes on like this for a while. The further you walk, it will glitch and show that, and more people will join the procession until you're up to 20, then 30, then 40, then 50, and you've kind of lost track of where you're going. You're surrounded on all sides by specters walking along, and in some instances, during the glitch, being dragged along. And when you look up to re-clarify where your surroundings are, you are now in a back alley 20 feet from the church, the cathedral. And you stop in the middle of the street as you come out of the alleyway, and you can see this procession of not just the ones that were with you, but also from different alleyways, other specters, now no longer under the illusion of willingly going, but simply being dragged by hundreds of these creatures towards the church. And vanishing through the wall. This goes on for a full minute before there is a ring from the bell tower, and you lose sight of all the specters. Where you saw these individuals being dragged through the walls of the cathedral, there's a moistness to the brick. And there's a very slick black ichor that begins to pour from the stones very slowly.
I don't imagine the Maiden would have any kind of vial on her, but she will have, like, I don't know, stockings a thing back then. She's gonna take whatever thing she has on her legs or socks off and cover it in this ichor stuff for Victor, because I don't think she'd have any other contraption to hold them in. And yeah, is anybody? Do people go to a church at this time at night? Is that a thing?
Only
is it open, or is it completely
the guards
closed?
there patrolling, who you can see that there's a small patrol making its way up the street in your direction, but they don't seem to be hurrying. They have spotted you, but they aren't like, halt, who goes there? And there are individuals walking the streets itself, but no one is going into the church that you see. And you're not sure what those rings were signifying.
I'm gonna see if I can go into.
Really don't understand what the fuck's going on here.
Sure.
I know.
The ichor that you get onto your stocking, which, by the way, very, very, very lewd of you to take your stocking off. You probably have 2 flustered guards, if anything, following you. Wondering what exactly this woman who's done such a lewd act is doing near a church.
Right next to the church.
Yes. But the ichor that you got onto it has a smell of... It's a very earthy smell of rotten eggs and soil and musk and mold and blood. Weeks old blood. But you go to the front of the church, and you can see the black rose thorns across the street. No one seems to have noticed any of this. No one seems to have paid attention to any of the bells, any of that. When you walk up to the door, you get a brief glance from the guard who's not too far from the door. And then he turns his glance back to the streets. And the door is unlocked.
Yep, we'll continue to go inside.
Fantastic. I need you to roll me a willpower check. Current.
Where is willpower again? Okay, Karen. Fuck, I'm sorry. No. What
After
is
that
it?
spectacle, it's
Difficulty
probably
6.
because that place is unholy.
2 successes. As you open the door, what you see before you is a sight of absolute horror. To the naked eye, which you do not have at this moment, people would just see a beautiful cathedral. To Rose's eyes, to the Maiden's eyes, what you see is a gaping maw. The fog that you saw following these people as they walked is being rapidly dragged into the maw along with dozens of specters. And in a perfect pentagram around the maw are these hooded figures. You don't see the hundreds that you saw dragging them towards it. You just see 5 of them. And the specters gathered here, which cram the cathedral, are just being almost like people cartoonishly being dragged away by a tornado or hurricane, dragged into the maw. And it looks like a pulsating wound in the abyss. And you feel an immediate pull deep within you, and something you have never felt before screams and pounds against your ribcage and your spine to go in the other direction as you unnaturally feel yourself take 1, 2, 3, 4 steps closer before you snap out of it and regain control of your body. The hooded figure standing directly across from you on the other side of this gaping maw into the abyss looks up towards you. This drool and ichor still pouring from wherever its mouth is. It is not holding its scythe, it is simply adorned in its robes. And it slowly reaches out its arms as if to motion for an embrace. And as it does, its hood falls back, and instead of seeing a skeleton, instead of seeing a man, all you would see is a giant, fleshy, pulpy, gaping maw of a worm with thousands of teeth staring back at you. And that is where we're going to end the episode. Thank you all so much for being here. We greatly appreciate it. Rosa, aka the Maiden, might die. We'll see next time. Adios!
Make a
Bye-bye.
backup character?